We are live. I mean, not really live, but it's recording. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Hi guys, welcome to the Beanstalk Podcast, where we talk about everything travel.
Sharing first-hand travel advice and getting to the bottom of real-life experiences in the hopes to inspire you to get out there yourself. Where are we at right now?
We are in the Note Coffee Cafe, central Hanoi, Vietnam, which is kind of overlooking the main lake.
Yeah. And there's some sort of, not commotion, but I would say like activities going on down the road.
It's Saturday.
Yeah.
11:30 in the morning.
There's some
it's
loud
pretty drizzly out.
Bass going on that I can hear.
There are booths and stuff set up, and it's like music going and people setting up more stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a market or...
yeah, I can't really tell.
Yeah.
But what is, I guess, noticeably different about this cafe than most of the other cafes around?
It's covered in sticky notes.
Yes.
Completely covered.
Yeah.
To the point of like sticky notes are hanging off of sticky notes that are hanging off of sticky notes.
Yeah.
And there's little quotes and sayings from people all over the world, little drawings.
Do you want to read a couple? This one says, "Never stop exploring. Move forward."
One says, "Drive fast, eat ass." And it looks like someone else commented, "Dude, you have life figured out." There's a lot of fortune cookie like, quotes or...
I like this one. It says, "Travel is not..."
Happy travel.
No. Is it? Oh, it is.
Happy travel is not reward for working.
No. That's not it. You're reading two together. Because it would be, happy travel is not reward for working. It's education. No, it's not. You're combining two.
It looks like it's just two stuck together, but one...
Yeah, it kind of looks like they go together, but they don't.
No,
so I'm going to read the one. I know, that's why I wanted to read it. So it says, "Travel is not reward for working. It's education for living."
Whitney is a good reader.
Hey, shut the fuck up. My tooth makes it kind of hard to say certain things. So I said it's education for living, and that's an Anthony Bourdain quote. So yeah, just tons of stuff to look at, and yeah, it's pretty cool. We're like in this cozy little nook. It's almost like a windowsill that has bars on it. And, it just overlooks the street.
Yeah, we're 2 floors up, so we're overlooking the street, too. It's not... Yeah.
Yeah, but, what would you say has been your favorite part of being in Hanoi, Vietnam so far?
Favorite part?
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I don't know. I want to say just to be in this country, I think.
Yeah.
I was really excited to come back to Vietnam, as it's just one of my favorite countries.
Has it kind of lived up to that reputation that you gave it from last time?
So far, but we're also in a big city.
True.
But we're kind of stuck at the moment. I wouldn't say stuck. I think we're just...
we are kind of, though.
Involuntarily stationary, because you have to do multiple dentist visits here. So we're just kind of hanging and waiting.
Yep. I have my second dentist visit today, which I am currently in the process of having a root canal on one of my front teeth. And I found out last time that 2 of my teeth are cracked.
2 of your other teeth.
Yeah, 2 of my other teeth are cracked. So 3 of my front teeth are affected. And
from what?
From our motorcycle accident. And that was, kind of a bummer. So I think...
Did we talk about that yet?
The motorcycle accident?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay. The last podcast was about that.
Oh, right, the road rash.
And so, I think that after that, it kind of put me in a funk, to be honest, because we were in one of our favorite places.
We were really looking forward to having motorbikes and exploring.
Mm-hmm.
But we got in an accident on the first day.
And we couldn't do much, so it was kind of a bummer. And so I think that, I just kind of slumped into a bit of a depression and binge watched all of Mad Men. And, but I think traveling to Hanoi has kind of lifted me out of it a little bit, and because we're actively, getting my teeth worked on, so we're trying to
bounce back.
Trying to bounce back,
basically.
yeah. But so I think that my favorite part about being over here is just experiencing a different culture again, or I guess revisiting, a culture that I really did like before. And just kind of exploring new places, getting to know the city a bit more. Really, I don't know, I think we're really going to be able to say that we experienced this city.
This city?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because we're here for a while. So.
Yeah, we've already explored quite a bit. And we had before last time we were here as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we definitely have more time. I'm curious what they're going to say today at the dentist as far as,
how much
longer it's going to take to get everything squared away with your grill.
Yeah.
And basically, hopefully find out how much longer we're going to be here, because I don't really know.
Yeah.
The last, we knew was just that your next visit was going to be today.
Mm-hmm.
Which was 5 days since the first visit?
I think so, 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days?
Yeah. But, I was going to mention that I just really like the streets here.
Why? Explain.
They're lively. They're just so... There's so much happening. You cannot walk on the sidewalks pretty much anywhere, because... They're covered in motorbikes.
Or people's food carts
or restaurants or seating or just anything. Yeah. It's like the sidewalks are used for anything but walking, it feels like. So you're walking in the streets and there's a lot of traffic everywhere. So literally, you're just getting whizzed by on motorbikes and cars and the little rickshaws, women carrying the little scale holding fruit. And
the scale?
It's like a scale, they rest it on their shoulder. I don't know what to call them, but
the justice scale with the woman that's holding. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So they have fruits, or I saw one lady with it stacked so high with bras, and it's just anything really,
it's
herbs
anything.
And
there's
tons of stuff.
So much for sale.
One lady actually kind of cornered me with her thing one night and just put it on my shoulder, and kind of made Carl take a photo, which I was okay with. I've always kind of wondered how heavy they are, and hers wasn't entirely loaded with fruit, but that thing was heavy. It was, my shoulder kind of started hurting after maybe 20-30 seconds. And she was oh yeah. I was you're strong. And she's oh yeah, touch my shoulder. And I touched her shoulder, and it was literally like a brick. It was so hard.
Yeah.
And then she kind of conned me into buying her fruit, which was oh, okay. But
you've already held her thing, taken a photo.
Yeah. So I was okay, I'll buy your fruit.
You owe me something.
Yeah. But I wasn't
didn't see that coming.
No, I totally did, but it was only a couple dollars, so who cares? But yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a certain uniqueness to this city that I really enjoy.
Yeah, the air is total shit.
Yeah, it's kind of
I've kind of had a sore throat the last couple days.
Yeah. It might clear up a little bit with the rain. Which,
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully it does. You've had a lot of good coffees.
Yeah, that's the thing about Vietnam. They definitely are into coffee.
Yep. And there's been tons of pho. We've eaten a lot of pho.
It's been a few days, but yeah.
Just because I was kind of getting like, oh, okay, all I can eat is pho because of my mouth. So, yeah, that was one thing we had to deal with. Or I've had to deal with. Because I know that they're big with banh mi sandwiches, but that's like a baguette, and I can't really bite into a big baguette with my tooth. But, oh, we kind of had a wild night the other night.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. You want to talk about it?
Oh, that's right. So I had met a guy, I think he's originally from South Korea, but he lives in Tokyo. But I met him at our hostel, and then he switched hostels because he was just trying out a couple different kinds. But he invited us out to go to a restaurant/bar where he had kind of gathered a group of friends and other people he had met to watch the football match or soccer. There was maybe 4 Vietnamese people. There was a guy from Seattle of, I think, Vietnamese and Chinese descent. And I think he was here kind of, retracing his roots. Yeah, so it was Vietnam versus the Philippines.
That was the football match we were watching.
Didn't I explain that?
I don't know, you might have. I was kind of getting distracted.
Okay. But they were playing each other.
Just wanted to clarify.
At the stadium here in Hanoi.
Yeah.
And it was 80 minutes and nothing had happened. It was still 0-0.
Literally nothing.
And then in the last 10 minutes, Vietnam had scored 2 goals, and the Philippines scored 1 goal, which, if you can add, that means Vietnam won, which I had asked one of the gals that's originally from here in Hanoi. I was like, what happens if Vietnam wins? Does Hanoi go crazy? And she was like, yeah, it goes crazy. And so, which I'd imagine it would in a city of over 8 million people.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Copa del Real in Barcelona when it was Barcelona versus Madrid, and Barcelona won. And it was just mayhem in the streets. So I was looking forward to hopefully Vietnam winning and having something similar, which they did win. And it was just seconds after you could hear all the people blaring horns outside and
screaming, chanting.
Everyone took to the streets. They had big Vietnamese flags and ribbons and banners, and there was like glitter and confetti all over, and people riding on motorbikes, blaring horns, chanting, cheering. Again, like waving flags and just going crazy celebrating. Yeah,
one of the gals that we were with, Ling, she really wanted us to like rent motorbikes and go riding with them, because apparently it's like a big thing to, get on your motorbike and ride. And that's kind of the celebration part. Go
around in a certain circle or a loop and just ride around and honk and it's just a way of celebrating and one of the things they do. And
I don't think we were really quite.
I didn't want to rent a motorbike.
I was like, I don't think so. Especially
the streets are crazy enough as it is, and just when it was so packed with people. Just crossing the street was difficult, and last thing I wanted to do was rent a motorbike and, join the mayhem.
And so I told her, I was like, we just got in a motorbike accident. I don't know if we feel comfortable doing that. And so she was like, oh, okay. And so we just kind of walked down the streets, and then we found a big kind of square or roundabout area that has, it was all kind of blocked off, so there were no motorbikes. Yeah, it was one of the busiest
intersections. Yeah. But it was all blocked off, so people couldn't bring their motorbikes in.
So it was just packed with people.
Yeah.
And people were just chanting and screaming and like blowing their horns, and
they had music going, and
it was like the same tune each time that came on, and it was like
just like kind of
like
electro
a bass,
beat
like,
music.
Yeah. So it would go on, and then everybody would be like, yeah, and then it would like
was
kind of
so
fade away,
loud.
and then it would come back on, and everybody would be like, yeah.
Yeah, there would be like a lull of no music,
Yeah.
and then the same, you know, it was yeah, it was hilarious.
I don't know what
It'd just
that
be the
was.
same thing, but it was like the drop, you know, like the song
Mhm.
ended, but then it came back on, and people started cheering again, like it was a brand new song, or like, oh, the music's back, and they would just
Yeah.
start cheering
Yeah.
super loud again.
And then there were like little kids out there that had like their banners and stuff, and I don't know.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
families
really,
were
it was
out,
cute and really cool.
People were taking videos. You know, I would definitely got grouped into people's personal videos, cheering, and then
Yeah.
they'd say thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone's just having a good time.
And we were chanting. What was it that we were chanting?
Vietnam Bodhi, or Bodhi, or something.
I thought it was Vietnam Vo Deek. I don't know.
I couldn't
Yeah, well,
hear. It was
it
so
translates to Vietnam is champion.
It's a champion, yeah.
So,
It was funny because I was watching in the crowd. There was kind of like a center of where everyone was kind of around. That's where like the speaker were and was. And I could see people up on something that maybe they were standing on the speaker. I couldn't see, but they were definitely like a level up. And you could see their mouth chanting that, and they were maybe, I don't know, 15 feet away. And I could not hear the sound coming out of their mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how loud it was. Like they were
Yeah.
that close, and I could see them visually yelling
Yeah.
and chanting, but I couldn't hear it.
Well, that
I
could
could
just
just
be
hear
because your
like
ears suck.
this small. Shut the fuck up. No, it was so loud.
Yeah.
There were people that had fireworks, or like kind of big sparklers.
They were like really big
As
sparklers.
soon as they went off, it was I want to say the police would like rush them in a matter of seconds, and you'd see them just barrel through the crowd and just take this person down and stomp out their firework thing. And I remember there was at one point a guy that had gotten up on, you know, something that he was, you know, 2 people tall, and he had 2 sparklers. He was kind of like dancing at first, and then he lit these 2 sparklers that had like strings attached to him, so he was swinging around like poi.
Yeah.
And yeah, he definitely got. Yeah, they were on it though, man. The police, if you had a sparkler going in the crowd, they were gonna take you out. And it's like they knew it was gonna happen, but they did it anyway.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's starting to rain now.
Yeah, it's definitely, today's been the
Coldest
I guess
day,
it was a bit
for
cooler
sure.
yesterday, but today's
Not
like
this
I got
cold.
a long sleeve on and you got
Yeah.
pants on. I
So,
think
yeah.
it's a high of 60 degrees Fahrenheit today.
Yeah, it dropped pretty significantly yesterday.
Yeah.
From the day before. We were like, every time we would go out, we would be sweating, and it was really humid
yeah.
and muggy.
With like 98% humidity.
Yeah.
So it was pretty
This is
sweaty
a
and gross.
pretty welcome change, I would say.
Yeah, it is raining right now, though.
Yeah, it is. But what's been like your favorite food since we've been here?
So far, I'd have to, I don't know. We went to one of one of my favorite restaurants. It's an Indian place called Namaste Hanoi.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It was really good Indian food. It's a bit more expensive, but it's super good. They have a really good fusion blend or mix of northern and southern Indian dishes. But I really like the pho. I don't know, it's really good when you get a bowl and it just tastes really good, but then you can definitely spice it and customize it to your liking.
Yeah.
As far as with, like limes, they usually have a hot sauce, like a house hot sauce. It's all a little different. So you can make it as spicy as you like.
Yeah.
I haven't had any like outstanding banh mi sandwiches, which is also another common Vietnamese
I haven't
meal.
been able to eat them, so I don't know.
Yeah, which is why we haven't been going to many banh mi places.
Yeah. I really loved the fruit like smoothies. which I think we were getting quite a bit of in Thailand as well. But yeah, just like loads of fresh fruit everywhere, and tons of smoothies or juices, and so everything's really just fresh and delicious. And I think I've liked just kind of trying the street foods. There's been quite a few different like kinds that we've been able to try. You know, like there's these fresh spring rolls that are really good, and they're like kind of wrapped in this soft rice paper.
I want to say those are like pho
really
quan.
Pho quan?
Yeah. Because it looks like...
Sounds like we're saying a bad word.
Yeah. It looks like it's spelled like pho, but then they add a C-U-O-N at the end of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's pronounced, but... Yeah, that's a really common and like traditional Vietnamese little food.
What's been one thing since we've been back here that you forgot about, but that you didn't really miss?
How pushy a lot of the people are. No, I don't mean like physically, but as far as the
trying to sell you
people
stuff.
Trying to sell you their food, or
and I really think
the little shops that just try to sell you, whether it's their clothes or whatever, or the ladies that walk around with the deep fried bananas, or
I want to say
little donut balls.
I want to say it's really just like kind of particular to this old town part, though.
Well, that's where we've been the whole time.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's what I remember is like it's not that way outside of the big cities, and like even not that way outside of like the main central parts of the big cities. Like
I know, but I thought you meant like what was different than what you remember for where we're at now. Then
I'm just merely stating the fact that it's not that way outside of the main parts. No. That's all I was trying to get across. Like it's not part of all of Vietnam, just so people know. But yeah, I would agree with you that that's kind of the one thing that I kind of forgot about, but have, I realized that maybe like just a day in, maybe hours in, just walking around being like, oh yeah.
Or the guys
there are a lot of people that come up to you and want to
drive the
sell
rickshaws.
You stuff.
And they like wave you over like, hey, hello, where are you going? And you're like, no, I don't want it. And they're like, hey, hello. You're like, dude, I don't know, you know, it just gets down to you just ignore them. Because they're just going to keep trying.
Yeah. I don't like ignoring them because it's like
you feel like an asshole.
They're a person. So I like, sometimes I'll just say no and I'll look them in the eyes and give them a smile, you know, and sometimes like I'll get the smile back. And then they'll just be like, oh, okay, they don't want something. And then I can keep going. But then there are, like, other times where if you do that, they will not leave you alone. And you're like, oh, crap.
you know? No, I mean, at that point, it's, you know, whatever. I just also do the one firm no and smile.
True.
And then if they keep trying, then at that point, I ignore them.
Yeah.
It's like, I already told you where I'm at.
Yeah, because when you walk down the street and it's like, literally, you can't go a block without having maybe 6 to 10 people do that to you, it gets a little old.
Yeah.
But, and I mean, it's just them singling you out because you look foreign and you're a tourist.
Which you are.
And you have money. And so it's like, okay, I get why they're coming over, but...
The hard part is when you get to a corner and you're trying to cross the street, but you have to wait a minute, and they're like a foot in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like waiting and stuck in front of them, and then they keep hollering at you to step into their rickshaw or whatever. And it's like, no. And then they keep trying. They're basically, you know, right in front of you. And it's just awkward. And you're just like,
it is a little weird.
Trying to cross the street.
What about the traffic? How have you felt about that coming back?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember being in Thailand and thinking how, you know, busy the traffic is, which it is, but comparatively, it's nothing like Vietnam.
No.
It's just nonstop, just honking all the time. Although it
is very quiet here because they had it blocked off. Like they have streets.
It's blocked off, plus it's raining.
Yeah. But I mean, if you were to go like a few blocks that way, it'd probably be just as crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely certain streets that are just nonstop traffic.
Because all the streets are very small. I would say that they're maybe 2-lane streets, but they have either cars parked on either side or like kind of, the sidewalks are pouring over into the streets a little bit. Pretty much it's just like a 1-lane street that has tons of motorbikes and cars driving in every which direction. And you kind of have to just like start walking in good faith that you won't get hit and that people will just kind of drive around you. And I mean, you have to look both ways multiple times.
Yeah,
like your
'cause
head just
people
goes back and forth and you're like, oh my God, where is everything coming from?
The wrong way. Especially if they were to follow the, quote, traffic laws and get to one area, they would have to go around the whole block.
Yeah.
Or they could just go the wrong way for, 30 feet and take a left and then they're fine, which they do all the time. So it's not necessarily that they stick to the lane that they should be in. They could be coming from any direction.
And traffic lights are kind of merely just suggestions. Because, I mean, you see people running red lights all the time.
Yeah, they just go for it.
Yeah, and so, like, even I saw a T-shirt yesterday when we were walking that said it had, like, a little picture of a street sign and or a street light, and on the green it said, I can go. In the yellow it said, I can go. And in the red it said, I can still go. So it's like, oh, okay. So they don't really pay attention to the street lights all that much.
It's kind of loosely
enforced.
Huh?
It's not really enforced, like I would say.
No, I mean, you don't see, people don't get tickets for that.
No.
But it's kind of loosely followed.
Yeah. I really do like there's tons of art galleries also that you pass, and really talented artists, I would say.
A lot of them do the same stuff, but some have different or unique paintings. Mm-hmm. But clearly it's all, they're not prints.
No,
they're
you
all
can
actual
see
paintings.
the strokes, yeah. So it's like this, city is definitely filled with some talented artists.
Yeah.
There's also another thing that I really like that I've noticed is that there are these little shops that have, it's like a stamp. They're like these little wooden stamps that people carve, and you can make them personalized with, like, some people do photographs of people's faces, or like any sort of words or animals or whatever you want. Like,
they can take a photo and basically turn it into a stencil-like stamp.
Yeah, so it's like a wooden stamp or a rubber stamp that, they basically carve.
Yeah.
I guess it would have to be wood, not rubber, but they can carve someone's picture into it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
pretty cool. Talented. I think it'd be cool to get one of those, I think.
I wonder how much they cost.
I know, I wondered that too. That's also another thing, is that, like, this is a culture of bartering for sure. Or not bartering, sorry. What would you say, haggle?
That's bartering.
No.
Yeah, barter is when you.
I thought bartering's like trading goods, not.
Well, yeah, money for food or clothing or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it is.
I think haggle might be more appropriate.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know if.
Yeah, so many shops have things that don't have a, set or marked price.
Nothing has prices.
So they're gonna, tell you some inflated price off the gates. It's 4 times as much as what it should be or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess it's like the rule of thumb is that when you go to a shop and you want something and it doesn't have a price on it, you always cut whatever price they say in half, usually.
It's all relative. I don't know. Like yesterday, I was looking at a tank top and asked how much, and the lady said it was 80,000 dong, which is less than $3. Or no.
So it's like $4.
Yeah, it's close to $4.
Yeah.
And I asked if she'd take 60, and she was just like, no.
Well, yeah. It's depends on the place, and if they actually want to do it, or if it is set prices, they'll say, nope, set prices.
Yeah. But I mean, you really could go back and forth all day, and to come to an agreed price.
But usually what I'll do is I cut it in half, whatever they tell me, if they're, down to haggle. And then they'll usually say, no, I'll do this price. And it's just maybe like a little bit less than what they had initially said. And then if you go, oh, okay, no, and you start to walk away, they'll be like, okay, what do you want? Or how low will you go? Or how high will you go? And so then you say, okay, well, you go a little bit more than what you had said. And then, you kind of come to an agreement that's more of like the price that you'd pay. So always go into it like with a set price that you won't go higher.
Yeah, you almost have to like have your max limit in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And if it's not met, it's so easy to just go to the next block and go to the next shop, or even the one next door that has all the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen 3 stores in a row, like literally next to each other, that all have the same, North Face, Under Armour, fucking clothes, shirts, backpacks.
Yeah. Tons of stuff.
It was like 3 stores in a row that all had the same shit.
And they all have different prices.
So, I mean,
it's kind of like just shop
if it doesn't
around
work
a
out,
bit.
or she's quoting you over your max amount that you want to spend, you can definitely go to the next one and try.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, sometimes they'll get a little upset or be just like, no, like Carl said.
Yeah, they give this look or response like they're guilt tripping you into like you're fucking them over.
Well,
like,
I mean, and the thing that I can respect is that, like, our dollars go a lot further for them than for us, I think. So I would say that sometimes I just don't even, like, care. And I'm like, okay, whatever, So it's like, it depends really, like, the person, if they're willing or not, and how willing you are. So it just, it's all situational. But yeah.
It's getting louder out there.
It is getting a little bit louder. Like there's some sort of bass or band or something going on.
What is it, like noon now? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Noon o'clock.
The festivities are kicking off. We were walking down the street, the day before yesterday, and we bumped into Charlotte again. Yeah. Which was pretty weird.
We were just walking down, and I seen this lady looking at scarves, and I was like, you gotta be shitting me, that's Charlotte. We had no idea that she was still here.
No.
We had, let alone just pass her
on the street.
In the street.
The busy, crowded, random
filled with people
encounter. Which was...
What are the odds?
Yeah, so cool. Because I knew that they were coming over to Hanoi, and then they were going to go somewhere else. And I knew that maybe they were going to come back here, but I didn't know for sure.
Well, they didn't even know for sure.
Yeah, so... And I knew that we were just going to be barely missing them once we got into Hanoi, that they were going to be leaving that day. So I think it had been like a few days since we had been here. And I was meaning to, like, give her a shout out, but I just kind of had been slacking on it. And yeah, the universe was like, hey, you're going to see her again before she leaves. So that was pretty cool. Because she's leaving for home here pretty soon.
She what?
She's going to be leaving to go home here pretty soon.
Yeah. So she's got a couple more stops and then heading back for the holidays.
That's some loud music. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was cool. We actually came to this coffee shop, The Note, and then went and got something to eat and kind of did a little bit of Christmas shopping for her family and stuff.
She was getting a lot of souvenirs and gifts to bring back for the holidays, Christmas presents.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I don't think it's been like super eventful. Just kind of a lot of
just
wandering the
checking
cities.
out shops. I've been trying to find a book, but
wow, that's loud.
Yeah, pretty loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, oddly, books are kind of expensive.
Yeah.
At least the new ones. I haven't found any used ones that I'd like to read.
Yeah.
Wow, that's getting really loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new books I've noticed, at least where I've seen, are almost the same prices.
In the States?
Back home. As far as new books, where they're like $8 to $10.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's... Oh, keep waiting, looking.
I don't know. There's some used or new books in the States that they're expensive, like $20, you know. Like,
yeah, but
so
I mean, as
double.
far as standard prices for Southeast Asian shit,
Oh, well, yeah.
it's a bit steep.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, the price for this book could actually be like 2 nights accommodation somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Accommodation is cheap. Food isn't as cheap as Thailand. Oh.
Jingle bells.
People are singing jingle bells.
It's December, y'all.
This is just a reminder that Christmas is coming up, which is kind of hard to think about, especially that there's not too much Christmas stuff. Except maybe that
There are
random
some places
jingle
that
bells.
have like lights and trees.
Yeah, that's true.
Like just looking across the street, I see a Christmas tree all decorated out front of this hotel.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think it's to draw people in as well for
tourists.
business.
Yeah. So, what else can we talk about?
Going up continually.
It is. It's getting louder and louder. I'm pretty sure the microphones are at least being able to pick it up now. Yeah. My bladder is very full of liquids, and I have to pee.
I can't feel my ass, and
so
I gotta pee.
So I think that we might have to cut this one a little short, but
that's basically the gist of everything.
Hanoi so far, yeah. And we're kind of sitting around waiting on the next move and figuring out what to do with my teeth.
Getting your face fixed.
Getting my grill all fixed up. And, yeah, just experiencing Hanoi in all its glory. If you have any questions about Hanoi, things that you have wondered about.
Or Vietnam.
Or Vietnam in general, we can either ask around and find out for you, or maybe we have experienced it, so we know. But yeah, just give us a shout out. Holla at us. Holla, holla, holla. I'm going to go pee somewhere. And
wish us luck for the dentist visit today.
Yeah, wish me luck.
In a few hours.
Gonna go get some more nerves pulled out of my front tooth.
Yeah, hopefully
not. Hopefully just
we get some
get
good
it
news.
done. Yeah. Cross your fingers. All right, y'all. We love you. Thank you so much for listening. And we will talk to you later. Yeah?
Yep.
Signing off. All right. Beans out.
Out.
Bye.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe to our podcast.
If you feel inclined, leave us a comment or review, tell someone you know who might enjoy to have a listen, and feel free to share on your choice of social media.
If you want to know more about us or see any photos of our travels, you can check out our website at trailofbeans.com.
We also have a Facebook page where you can follow us on our upcoming adventures and get updates along the way, which can be found by searching @ the Bean Trail.
If you'd like to support our travels and help ensure the continuation of this podcast, you can do so by contributing through our Patreon page.
Just visit patreon.com and search for Beanstalk Travel Podcast. Each donation is greatly appreciated and gives you an inside look at a day in the life backpacking abroad.
We'll be back next week. Same beans.
Same pod.